See that. You want to keep saying Elimination Chamber match. It's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. They really need to just stop doing pay-per-views of gimmick matches. They really do. One of the big things that WWE needs to get rid of. That being said, tonight was a really good night, I think, for WWE and the pay-per-view. They had some fantastic matches they put on. They told some great stories. All of it was just fantastic, and truly enjoyed it. So let's go ahead. Let's start right off with the kickoff show. We had the Viking Raiders against Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. The Viking Raiders made short work of Ryder and Hawkins. I had it down as 2.5 stars. They finished him off with the Viking experience. Just something out there to get the crowd a little warm. Normally this is where you would do your, this is one of the reasons why I think people was hoping that the cruiserweights would continue on the main roster, because this is the perfect spot for the cruiserweights. They get the adrenaline and the blood pumping in the building and everything like that, but that's okay. They're stuck on 205 Live and on NXT. So all in all, but it was just it was what it was for what it was. But then we go to the main show. The first match is Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak, and again, I mentioned it. Match quality and storytelling, and that's what this was. This was truly I thought this was truly fantastic. There have been stories that Drew Gulak have been trying to get some of the undercarders, teaching them to get in the ring and do it. And this match was it was truly fantastic. It was very technical sound. It was hard hitting, some great reversals. All in all, just great work by both of these guys, including some suplexes that were just super scary when you think about Daniel Bryan and his neck. Oh, it was incredible to watch. Really, really good work from these two. It ended up with Daniel Bryan locking in the label lock and Drew Gulak passing out. Not tapping out, but passing out from it. And your winner, Daniel Bryan. I had it at 4 stars. Great opener. Just really, really good stuff. Old school mixed with new school. This was fantastic from these two. And afterwards, some kind of respect going there when Daniel Bryan was pointing to Drew Gulak as like, hey, you proved something, brother. You proved something. So we'll see where that goes from there. But truly, I found it fantastic. Next was the United States title match between Andrade and Humberto Carrillo. And, I had said in my predictions video that, on one hand, you can see maybe them picking up, them putting the title on Humberto Carrillo because of Andrade and his suspension and everything like that. And Humberto kind of needs it, but I just didn't see it. I really didn't. I didn't see them putting the title on Humberto Carrillo. And that's what they had tonight. It was a very good match. It had a 3 3/4 stars. Thought it was very, lucha libre-esque match, and and some really, really good spots. But all in all, I think it was just I just thought that it was going to be just that they just weren't going to pull the trigger on Carrillo, and that's what happened. They didn't pull the trigger on him, and Andrade won with a roll up, a bit hold it tights. 1, 2, 3, victory for Andrade. Excuse me. Next, we have the SmackDown Tag Team Elimination Chamber match. The champions, Miz and Morrison, against Heavy Machinery, Rude and Ziggler, the Usos, the New Day, and the Lucha House Party. And really what this was just truly a fantastic. This was a fantastic match involving a story. This, there's a story in here that just this is a match that involves a story. This is not a match furthering a storyline, but the storyline of Mandy Rose and Otis and Dolph Ziggler is entwined into this match, and it was fantastic. At one point, Otis going at the Ziggler runs at him, and he runs through the pod to the outside, and it was just you couldn't believe it. You just couldn't believe it, and it's really, really good stuff here. Spot of the night, Lindsay Dorado of Lucha House Party climbs the cage all the way up to, and going almost to the center, and he does a shooting star press down on top of everybody. So just incredible. All 10 guys here put on their best. They did damnedest to do it. All 10 guys were in the ring. There were no elimination to all 10 guys got in. Lucha House Party got eliminated first. Then I believe it was Heavy Machinery. And Miz and Morrison beat the Usos to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And all in all, this match was great. There was some. It wasn't as nice and clean as you would like it. There were some mess ups. It seems, especially at the beginning, there seemed to be some out of sorts. Some people were having trouble with springboards and Kofi and Morrison and things like that. But all in all, it was a fantastic match. I give it 4 3/4 stars. It was damn near perfect. It was damn near a perfect match. So good on those guys. All 10 guys worked their butts off, did a hell of a job, and you got to give it to them. They came out to wrestle tonight, and they put on a show for everybody. So good on them. Next was the DQ match between AJ Styles and Aleister Black, and this one was kind of weird because the OC came out with them, but they didn't get involved into the match until the very end when they started and they jumped on Aleister Black, and then at that point, when they got into it and they beat him down, the Undertaker showed up and chokeslammed, AJ Styles, and that set up the Black Mass from Aleister Black, and Aleister Black won. He got the victory. So that was kind of weird, but I thought this was all just really, really good. Some great psychology here. AJ Styles working on the leg of Aleister Black, because if he can't stand, he can't do the Black Mass. And so I thought there was some really, really good stuff here. And some really, really great spots. We had some table. We had Aleister Black do a meteor onto AJ Styles onto a table set up on the outside. So some really, really fantastic work from these two guys. I gave it 4 1/4 star. I thought it was really, really good, and it does. And again, we hit the Undertaker spot. Everything sets up. It's AJ Styles and Undertaker at WrestleMania, and that should be interesting. Hopefully, Undertaker has got his working pants on, his working gloves on, so that he can go ahead and hang with AJ Styles, and we can get a really good match, maybe even another classic out of these two. So, yeah, but tonight, Aleister Black, he won, fantastic, and Murphy, not just Seth Rollins and Murphy, and I thought this was fine as it was. This was respectable tag team wrestling. They do everything. They do. These 4 guys get in the ring. They got good chemistry. Some great spots. I will say this. I know Montez Ford has this thing about him that, and everything like that, but he sometimes does go a little overboard with it. And so I think he can tone it down a little bit, but maybe that's what got him over it, the fact that he's so overboard with it. So we'll have to wait and see, but I would like to see him tone it down a little bit. That's just for me. But otherwise, they were this was incredible. Kevin Owens came down towards the end, and he had popcorn. He was in front of Seth Rollins' face. He threw popcorn into Seth Rollins' face. I'm not sure why that wasn't a disqualification, but nevertheless, I guess because what can popcorn do, right? So that caused a distraction for Andrew Dawkins to pounce Seth Rollins into the board. They took Buddy Murphy and Britt Baker tried to do a dive. They caught him, power bombed him into the barricade, threw him in the ring. Hit the sky high cross splash for victory. I think Tom Phillips called it a cash out. Maybe that's what it's called, the cash out. So I'm not sure, but whatever it was, the Street Profits won. I had it at 3.5 stars. Again, I've said this many times before. A a by the books tag team match, you know, when done correctly, is going to be it's going to be 2.75 to 3.25 stars. That's it's not that's just an average tag match. You know, that's just what it's going to be. And they were just a little bit above that, and they didn't need to go all out and do a whole bunch of other stuff. They just need to go out there and do the match and tell their story, and that's what they did. So that's why I gave it 3.5 stars. Um, the IC title match was second to last. It was Braun Strowman defending against three guys: Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. And you know what this match would be. This match was all about Braun Strowman to get his hands on Sami Zayn. And that really didn't happen. Sami Zayn got in and he pretended like he was going to do it, but then Cesaro and Shinsuke they did their whole things, and at one point they got to the point to where they got Braun Strowman beat down, and they ran him into the ring post. Kinshasa, hitting, squeezing the head of Braun Strowman on against the ring post, and then they did the superplex Helluva Kick combo, and Sami Zayn, not Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn won, and he became the Intercontinental Champion. So that's what that is. I guess what you could do is, and the guys Zayn and Braun Strowman beat Sami Zayn in record time, 7, 8, 10 seconds, whatever, and gets his hands on Sami Zayn finally. So we'll see if that's what the ways they're going. They also made another good point of maybe where now Sami Zayn gets such a big head that Cesaro and Shinsuke they turn away from him. So then he's not going to have their help at WrestleMania. It's just going to be him against the big man Braun Strowman, 1-on-1. So that could be some really, really good stuff if they tell it right. So that was good. And finally, the Raw Women's Chamber match was the main event. Natalya, Asuka, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Shayna Baszler fighting to see who was going to go to WrestleMania and face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. And I said on my predictions video that I felt like this was made just so Shayna Baszler can run through everybody. She can run through everybody, and just because it's other than Asuka, right? Other than Asuka, and I guess Natalya, you could say Natalya, but other than Asuka and Natalya, you know, there's kind of no reason for Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan, especially Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan. There's no reason for those three to have been in the Elimination Chamber match, right? It really wasn't. So they could have been. There's only one reason for them to have them in the match, and that's for Shayna Baszler to run through them, and that's exactly what happened. Hey, no problem, Joe. No problem. And that's exactly what happened. Shayna Baszler. It started off with Natalya and Ruby Riott. Um, they did some stuff, and then Sarah Logan was third, and then she came out. But then here comes Shayna Baszler was fourth, and she came out and she quickly dispatched Sarah Logan. She quickly dispatched of Ruby Riott and quickly dispatched of Natalya, leaving her in the ring waiting for the Asuka or Liv to come out. Liv was fifth. She came out and she took Liv down like nothing was. Threw her into the cage, threw her into the glass. She brought her over to into where Asuka's pod was, and then like Hangman choked her, from the top rope until Liv passed out right in front of Oscar. And then when Oscar came in there, they had a little bit of a back and forth. Um, but really, when it came down to it, it was again it was no effect to Shayna Baszler, and she completely dismantled the entire entire basically entire women's division in that chamber, and she won. And as everybody saw, she was going to win, and she's going on to WrestleMania to face Becky Lynch. And what can I say? The match itself, by the way, I gave the IC title match 2 and 2/4 star. And this match was 2 star. Yeah, as a match, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that entertaining, so to speak. Um, but the story behind it made sense. The story, just made sense. It made sense to have Shayna Baszler just run through everybody. Because once again, why is Sarah Logan, why is Ruby Riott, why is Liv Morgan in this match? Just because they're women on Raw, you know, you really could have said that they could have done a men's tag team elimination match for on Raw, and they could have done that. That could have been better. They could have just had a Liv Morgan Ruby Riott match, and then they could have had like Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch do a contract signing or something. But this is what they wanted, and this is the story they tell. And so again, I had no problem with it. Um, I know there are people out there, kind of like Joe, who said that the match was not necessary. And I agree with that. The match was not necessary, and especially when you did the angle before you announced the match. You had Shayna come out there and bite the neck of Becky Lynch. Leave with do the whole. Damn, we already know who's going to be the #1 contender. We already know that. You know, so that was not necessary. But the way they pulled it off, I know I haven't checked. I haven't checked Twitter. Let's see. Hold on a minute. I didn't check Twitter after the match. But I'm sure. Well, I think I scrolled through it just a little bit. But I can. Yeah. See, the first one they said bullshit. Is in all caps. So yeah, there are some people who are not excited about this, and not a lot of people who thought the match was good. But the match wasn't supposed to be good. The match was supposed to tell a story, and that's what some people need to think about. Wrestling is about telling a story, about being a storyteller. Sometimes the story being told doesn't have to, it's not accompanied by a great match, and doesn't need to have a great match. It just needs to tell the story. And sometimes when you have that, when you have that, when you have both of them, when you have the great wrestling and the great story, like from like Shawn Michaels Undertaker, the greatest match in wrestling history. When those two combine, that's what you get. You get that. You get um you get Bret and Owen Hart from WrestleMania 10. You get um Michaels and Foley from Mind Games. That when both happens, that's when you get those fantastic matches. But this didn't need that. It just didn't need that. And maybe you'll get that on WrestleMania with Becky and Shayna. Well, that's probably what you're gonna get now. What you're probably gonna get now is you're probably gonna get Becky and Shayna, brawling, you know, over the next few weeks to build up to the WrestleMania match. And I wouldn't be surprised even if the other horsewomen, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, if they get called up and they come out hanging out with Shayna Baszler. Now those two are still they are still very green. They are still very um, young in the wrestling business. Um, and especially Marina Shafir, she's working with probably not anymore because it's now going to be Dream. It looks to be Dream and Cole that take over Tampa, but they're still doing some stuff down there in NXT. So as much as I would like to see them called up, I think they maybe should stay in NXT, get get more get more timing and get more stuff down there before they come up and have to come up on the main roster. But again, this is exactly what it was, and I thought it was. I thought it was fantastic. I really was. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of people who are upset for um and I don't think they get it. I really don't think that they do get it. So, but what can you say? So, all in all together, I thought this was a great pay-per-view. It really was. We had 4 matches over 4 stars, including the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, which was an absolute classic. So I thought this was a great pay-per-view. I thought the last 2 matches wasn't that great, but I thought especially the last one, that was a great story being told. So, well, well, like I said, they're not up, so I don't know if they're going to be up, but but soon. But I do think that the horsewomen are going to come up at some point because at some all 8 women want to do they want to do the 4 horsewomen of MMA: Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir. I don't know why I have so much trouble saying her name. And they want to do them against Becky, Charlotte, Bailey, and Sasha. They all want it. They all want to do it. It was there was even a point where it was supposed to be done at the Survivor Series a couple years ago. It was gonna be done there, but they decided to go. They decided to stay with the Raw versus SmackDown, and then they decided to go with that, and we had Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, which was the supposed to be, obviously Nia Jax breaking her face and everything, and then we had Charlotte versus Ronda, but it was actually supposed to go down then. And then that was supposed to lead into obviously Charlotte versus Ronda, but we all know what happened. Becky got hot, yada yada yada. But yeah, at some point, I think we will get the 4 horsewomen of MMA versus the 4 horsewomen of WWE, and so at some point the horsewomen will come up. Do I think she's going to return before WrestleMania? There's a possibility. I think there was. She was at. Well, yeah, that's some things as well. There's some talks that it's not just going to be Ronda versus not, it's Becky versus Shayna. That Ronda's going to insert herself into the match as well. I'm not sure. I think what could happen. I think what could happen I think one or two things could happen. I think either, or actually one is actually one of 3 things I think could happen. We could have the straight match at WrestleMania between Becky and Shayna, and Shayna wins, and she becomes the new Raw Women's Champion. Straight up, no Ronda nowhere to be found. Um, I think they can do the match. Ronda interferes on Shayna's behalf and gets the championship, and they can do that. Or they can also do Becky. They can have Becky beat Shayna, win the championship, and then the next night on Raw, whatever her music is, Ronda comes out, she destroys Becky Lynch, puts Becky on the shelf because there are rumors that um, Becky and Seth Rollins are going to have time off after WrestleMania. There's thoughts that they're going to take a month off to get married and have their honeymoon. Both of them, because they're going to get married because they're engaged. So they're going to get married, have their honeymoon, take another couple of weeks off to relax their body, and then they'll come back. So you can easily do something like that where Ronda hurts Becky, Shayna hurts Becky, whatever it is, and Becky's written off TV that way. And and then the same, and so you definitely see it happen. Otherwise, I don't know. Again, could Ronda come up before WrestleMania and make it a triple threat? Absolutely. Because right now Vince wants stars. That's why we have Goldberg, versus Roman Reigns. That's why we have John Cena versus The Fiend. He wants established stars. Ronda Rousey is a star. Ronda Rousey is going to bring more people to the WrestleMania scene. So we could have that. Absolutely. I don't think it is going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. I've said this time and time again. I think Becky Lynch, even though Becky Lynch gets a lot of cheers, even though Becky Lynch still gets a lot of she gets a lot of just gets a lot of everything, and she sells a lot of merchandise. I think she's lost so much on her since she was hot, you know, and I think it goes back to I think it's two things. I think it's one. I do think that WWE, Vince McMahon in particular, was absolutely upset that he had to change his main event, his Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey main event at WrestleMania 35. He had that penciled in for when Ronda signed on the line. In Charlotte, Ronda Rousey, WrestleMania 35, the main event, the first time women main event WrestleMania. He had that, but Becky Lynch got hot, and I actually think he probably resents that a little bit. Now he went with it, and he made her the double champion and everything like that. But I do think he resented that a little bit, and he probably didn't put in him. He didn't have all of his guys and all of his and himself didn't put all of it into Becky Lynch like maybe they should have. But I also think that you can also say that he also saw that this was just someone getting hot for a couple months. This wasn't Stone Cold like some people kept saying, which I totally disagree with, that she needed to be treated like Stone Cold. No, this was not Stone Cold. This was not, this was not Stone Cold. This was not The Rock. This was not anything like that. This was somebody who get tremendously hot and tremendously over for a few months, but she couldn't keep it going herself. Now, yes, she didn't get help from WWE, but she didn't get over. She didn't keep it herself. Um, I forget who said it, but somebody one time said that Vince will let you, will throw you out there and see if you can sink or swim, and it's up to you to see to swim, or you will sink. And I think maybe that's what he did. He let Becky Lynch go out there to see if she would, sink or swim, and she's kind of been sinking. She's kind of been sinking, and so I think that's what that is. Well, yes and no. The Fiend was being built up so Roman Reigns can beat him. But then when Goldberg, again, and I think this is a kind of a two things happen too. I think Goldberg was also, he came on to SmackDown and he had that, and he popped the rating, and in Vince's mind, that's it. Bam. Okay, he's got to have the championship. Combine that with the fact that the Fiend has been losing steam too, and yes, it goes back. Um, it goes back to the Hell in a Cell match. I mean, that Hell in a Cell match did not do what's right for the Fiend. It really didn't. The Fiend should not be this character that is just so undefeatable. Like you had Seth Rollins do 18 stomps to him, and he was still getting up. He was still kicking out after 10 stomps. He was kicking out at one finish, and what that did. So it was just all in all that really that killed the Fiend's momentum to begin with. And sure, they put the title on him and everything like that, but that was due to the backlash from that match. The Fiend should have been someone who maybe has a high tolerance of pain. Yes, I would be okay with that. He has a high tolerance of pain, but there's absolutely no reason that that he should have been taking 18 curb stomps and still kicking out. That's not what needed to happen. Maybe Seth Rollins beats Braun Strowman with 4 curb stomps. Okay, so maybe you do 5, right? 5 curb stomps, and he doesn't kick out. So then Seth Rollins says, "Well, I need to do something else." So then and then maybe you start doing things where he's hitting him with other things and he's doing things and other things like that. But he's not going for the stomp because the stomp just can't work. You know, I would I would have been okay with that. I'm not a big fan of doing multiple finishers on people anyway. I'm not a big fan of that. At least you know at least like pass like if you want to hit a stomp and then come back and hit another stomp and then pin them. Okay, I think that's okay. But I'm not a big fan of the multiple finishers and everything like that. I could go on about that, but but then he's at 18 finisher, and then that made the Fiend to be this unbeatable, unstoppable person, an entity. Excuse me, not a person, entity. And so then, where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? And then what was going to happen at WrestleMania if it was the Fiend versus Reigns? Was Reigns going to hit 18 spears, 25 spears to beat the Fiend? So they completely botched the Fiend from the very start. The Fiend, that's not something the Fiend should have been. You know, he not should have been there. And some would say, and I would agree, that the Fiend should not even been in that match. He shouldn't have had a title match. The Fiend should have stayed far away from the championship until we got like to a point to where we could have been, where we could have, like played around with him a little bit, maybe. Maybe we could have molded him into that character that I'm talking about. Someone, yeah, maybe he has a high tolerance of pain, but who's not kicking out at one after 10 finishing moves, you know. So, but I think you're totally right. The Fiend and Becky Lynch, I did a video on this earlier. They've lost so much steam and they lost so much anything that it is unfortunate. And hopefully, I think again, Becky Lynch, the rumors about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins taking time off. I hope that's true. I hope they do take time off. Um, because Becky Lynch needs a character refresh so bad. She totally needs a character refresh in the worst way. In the worst way, she really does. Um, and hopefully the Fiend does beat John Cena at WrestleMania. And then the Fiend should take some time off as well. And then maybe and take some time off and see what do they want to do. Do they want to try and get the Fiend back on track in certain several ways? So then maybe you lead up to a Fiend reign to SummerSlam, or maybe where the Fiend can get the championship back from Roman Reigns at that time, build him back up, or do you want to scratch it all together and just leave Bray Wyatt once again hanging out, in his underwear? Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. You know, in my opinion, if Roman's going to win the title at WrestleMania, again, what I would like to see happen is I'd like to see Roman. I like to see one of two things. I like to see Roman keep it until SummerSlam. You can put it back onto the Fiend, like I just mentioned, or I like to see it where once again Roman would take it to next year's Royal Rumble, and at that point, uh, hopefully someone would have stepped up at that point in time, and and be if you have to move AJ Styles from Raw to SmackDown, if you have to Bobby Lashley or somebody, maybe even Brock Lesnar comes back to SmackDown. But it's or you can wait to the Royal Rumble to do the Fiend. But whatever the case it may be, uh, I just want to see Roman Reigns hold the title, have a lengthy reign, because obviously I'm going to be, obviously not only am I a Roman guy, I've defended Roman on my channel for years, but obviously with the whole cancer thing and things like that, having to have him relinquish it, it was good to see him have it and have a pretty good reign come out of it. My thoughts on Ricochet. I don't know. When it first happened, I wasn't too big on it, because it just probably could have happened. You never know what it was. See, everybody was so quick to jump on the whole he's being buried thing, and and things like that, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and he's being buried, and so I wasn't quick to jump on it, but obviously it came out this week that yes, Vince McMahon now he's kind of given up on Ricochet. So I'm not sure. It's one thing for Vince to give up on Cedric Alexander the way he did. Because I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to be tough for Cedric Alexander to get over, you know, massively anyway. He's great wrestler, great move set. He can do all of the flippy doos and everything like that. He's really, really talented. But I kind of thought it would be hard for him to get over to the point to where he could be he could actually be a star, someone you could see in the main event of WrestleMania. Ricochet, on the other hand, is someone I can see in the main event of WrestleMania. That is someone I can see in the main event of WrestleMania. So it is unfortunate that Vince has soured on him. So I hope that even though Vince has soured on him, I'm hoping that Paul Heyman has not soured on him, and Paul Heyman will still try to keep him in the loop somehow. Maybe this is just a bad stretch right now, and maybe he'll have to do some things until WrestleMania or something like that. Maybe he'll catch a break, or maybe he'll just go back. Maybe he'll do a Finn Balor and go back to NXT. But he needs. I see star quality in Ricochet, so I hope that he at some point will be able to get out of this hole that he's in with Vince for some reason, you know, and he can come back and be the star that I think we all think he can be. So um yeah, but here we are. We are 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, and it is going to be it's going to be a big night. I think it's going to be a big night where they're doing all of these matches. Like they're doing, it's allegedly it's going to be like 14 or 15 matches, and I don't understand why they're doing this. I really don't. You know, because one, you're just, as I've seen in the past. Yes, yes, yes. This is the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. It is. This is the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Because as we've seen in the past couple of years, the crowd does get tired. The crowd does get tired after a while. Um, Especially with all of these matches. And what it does, they kind of set it for 4 hours, but it goes longer than 4 hours. Obviously, it starts at 6. It actually starts at 4. Um, um, yeah, it starts at 4. Um, I keep forgetting. Keep forgetting. I'm not in Chicago. So, this Eastern time, it would start at 5. Start at 5. Then they would have the show starting at 7, and it's gonna go to 12 midnight. It's gonna go midnight, maybe even past midnight in WrestleMania. So, I just don't. I don't get why they continue on to do this. I know it's the biggest show of the year and everything like that. And I have no problem with you doing, you know, the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, the Women's Battle Royal, and another match on the kickoff show. That's 3. And then your main card, you should have 7 or 8 matches. That's 10. That's the most. 10. 3 on the kickoff show, then 7 or 8 on the 7 or 8 on the main show. But actually would be 11, at the most 11. You know, and in that way, you also get these matches get time because, for instance, right, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, I think, are 2 women that if you gave them 25 minutes, they could put on a classic. Maybe the first ever 5-star women's match in WWE, right? I think those two are so talented that that's what could happen. But when you get 15 matches, they're probably not even get 20, 25 minutes. They're probably going to get 15, maybe a little bit over, maybe a little bit under. And they'll still put on a good match, but it won't be the match that it could have been. So that's just me. What happened to Fastlane? They decided this year to do Super Showdown instead of do Fastlane. So that's one thing. Also, WrestleMania 36 would be the perfect time to make a new match type. Well, I don't know. The last new match they tried to come up with was the fist fight, and the new match type. It's they've got a lot of matches anyway, and they've got 3 or 4 matches that really are all the same damn match, right? No holds barred match, street fight, and extreme rules. Those 3 match types are the same match. It's a no disqualification, no count out match. When in the fall have to count in the ring. That's what makes that different from Falls Count Anywhere match. Falls can count anywhere. Those three are basically the same match. So no disqualification, no count out match. So it's not about a new match type. It's about doing the matches that they already have and doing them, well. So I think that's what they need to work on. So okay, let's see. Let's bring this up here. So again, what I've been doing, um, Well, I will say this. I do think that was a pretty good idea, and I don't know when they do go to Vegas. I don't know if they go to Vegas anymore. I can't remember the last time Raw, SmackDown, or a pay per view was in Vegas. But if they ever did go back to Vegas, that's what they should do. They should bring back the roulette rule, or the roulette thing, and do Raw roulette or do SmackDown roulette, or even do like a pay per view roulette, whatever. Um, but because I agree with you. It was a good thing for a while there. So as I talked about before, this year I'm keeping track of my predictions, and it started with the Royal Rumble. I was 6-2 at the Royal Rumble. NXT Takeover Portland, I was 5-1. The WWE Super Showdown, I was 6-1. So tonight, the kickoff match was made today. So when I did my predictions, I did not have that. So I did not make predictions um, for that match. But I did make predictions for the other matches that were on the main card. And I had Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman, Miz and Morrison, AJ Styles, the Street Profits, Andrade, and Daniel Bryan. Those were my predictions. Everyone but Braun Strowman won. So I went out of 7 matches, I went 6-1. 6-1. That brings my total on the year to, let's see, quick math, 3 6s, 18, 23, 23-5. I'm 23-5 so far this year, predicting uh, pay-per-view outcomes. So I am doing really, really well. I actually didn't know if I was gonna do well when I started this. I didn't know if I was gonna, when I said last year that this year I was gonna keep track of my predictions and see how well I was gonna do. I already thought that there was, I didn't expect to do this good. Now it's early. It's only been 4 pay-per-views, so we'll see if I can continue throughout the rest of the year. But right now, I'm looking really good. I will be doing predictions, obviously, for NXT Takeover Tampa and NXT and WrestleMania 36. Those will be coming obviously the before that weekend. I'll have to try to do that differently because I've been doing it on Saturdays. So probably record it Friday before. Um, hopefully there's like no last minute matches made on SmackDown on Friday. So, but yeah, 6-1. Once again, that's pretty good. So, and yeah, so let's to recap it here. Um, all in all, tonight I think was a good pay per view. Um, some really good matches, some really good stories told. Get you excited. So, and tomorrow night, Edge is coming up on Monday Night Raw. That's gonna be a great thing. Uh, Randy Orton, we're gonna see where that goes. That's been the best story on Monday Night Raw. And of course, obviously, the best story on SmackDown has been this Otis and Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler love triangle type thing, and Sonya Deville and Tucker has been in it as well. So it's some really good stuff, and it's going to be some really great stuff happening over the next couple of weeks. I think leading up to WrestleMania. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Um, um, I wouldn't say disappointing because I had no big expectations because I knew whatever was going to be inside the cage was not going to be what we all thought it was. Because it just, what can it have been? It only could have been two things. It could have been a cute kitten or a cute puppy, and then that would have been like the big man, big scary man, but he's got a heart of gold. And that would have been okay. That would have been okay. That would have been fine. But once the thing started biting him, and once it started once what's his face was scared of it. That one time he looked at it, you knew it wasn't going to be. It was going to be a letdown no matter what. So at least in some sort of fashion. So it wasn't disappointing to me. It was actually very very funny. I found it to be very very funny. So I didn't I had no problem with it. So, but yeah, that's gonna be it right now. And for me this tonight, make sure every Saturday you are here for That's a Shoot. This is where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. This upcoming week, I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to do my usual put over and bury, and I'm going to talk about the things that I like about AEW so far. Talk about some of the things that I like what they're doing. Some of the things that I like the way they're going and everything like that. Um, yes, Joe. Always thanks Joe for stopping by. A few other people stopped by before Joe did. They didn't stop and chat, but thank you for stopping by and jumping in and watching as well. Um, yeah. So again, that is it for me this evening. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. If you want to join a Patreon, you can join me at patreon.com/AJ Tripp as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. I am out, and we'll see you after NXT TakeOver Tampa.